Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bravo Tea with a Stay-at-Home Mom. I'm Erica, and I'm ready to talk all things Bravo. Welcome back, everybody. I am joined in person by my girl, Briana.
So happy to be back and in person, baby.
Those were our wine glasses cheering if nobody noticed, but we have her again for Summerhouse. We had her before for VPR, and I'm ready to dive in to the Hamptons. What are you thinking so far about the season?
I think it's going to be a good one, honestly. Like, I really do. I have some good feelings. I have some good vibes. I feel like everybody's going to bring it this season. We know that there's juice coming at the end. So
I
it's
know, I'm
almost like the
excited.
Scandival thing. Like, we know about it. And I know that people say that that's not a good thing, but we know kind of what happens with the fallout of Lindsay and Carl. And we kind of see it get to play out. And I think that's going to be cool.
I know. So I know, like this episode, we get Lindsay and Carl coming for their first weekend. It's everybody else's second weekend. So I'm so hyped to like watch their every movement with each other and with everybody else. So we pick back up at the party. Everyone's vibing. We see Gabby rented that it's not a riding bull, it's a riding shark. So we see West, the cowboy, get on after Sierra. Sierra made it for like 22 seconds. And she's like, let me see you ride on that shark because I'm going to preview you riding me later. And I was like, oh, he's probably going to be pretty good because his dad was like a professional, like horse rider, bull rider.
Good.
I
Oh
know.
like, the photo they show, I'm like, damn, give me your dad's number.
So he gets on there, lasts about 2 seconds, and he's like, wait. Like, you could tell he was so embarrassed. He's like, wait, how long do you last? She's like, mm-mm. So that's like maybe docking the point a little bit. She's like, I don't know how strong you're going to be in the bedroom if you're not riding on that shark.
If somebody's saying, wait, that's not ever a good sign. Ever.
She's like, I just lotion these legs with like almond butter and olive oil in the kitchen. Like, basically, she said. And I didn't fall off.
Her body is like 10 out of 10.
Okay,
Holy moly.
so I have to say what I heard today, but you said you don't agree. And now that I more look at her, I don't agree either. I heard that her boobs are real, but there was no movement really when she was riding on that shark. So I don't know. And they are real perky and good for her if they're real. But
if they are real, good for you, Sierra. You're doing something right. And you got to send some tips to your girls because damn.
I know. Jealous of that. But then we get Jesse Solomon.
Jesse Solomon.
Solomon. Why did I say salamander? That's like a fish. Why did I say that? He's hitting on Paige. I feel so uncomfortable. How do you feel about him knowing she's taken? He knows it.
I think he's maybe just trying to make a splash because he knows he's new. She's saying his name over and over, so he's playing into the game, even though he knows that she's taken. I think it's just all fun and games. I think he's playing into it. He's giving the same energy, even though she's probably not coming of a place where like she wants to get with him or be with him. He's just reciprocating the fun.
Men are weird. Like they almost like the chase. Like he later in the episode says to West when they drive together up for the following weekend that he's vibing with Paige and he's like, yeah, I mean, like I can take people that are taken in the house. And he even said that to Kyle at the party. Maybe, so Kyle is like drunk and he's like, out, like, you know how his voice gets so weird and different when he's drunk. He's like, oh, hairdresser. And they're like talking. And he's like, yeah, so is everyone off limits on the house? Like, I know your wife is, but like, is everyone else? Like, he's obviously referring to Paige.
Yeah. Like, yeah, for sure. I think he might be trying to just make a splash. She's giving some good energy, so he's just gonna keep riding that and seeing how far he can go with it.
I think it's gonna be interesting when Craig shows up though, because you know they're gonna be like, oh, like for the drama's sake of the show, like, hey, he's been hitting on your girl and you're living in Charleston sewing pillows. What are you gonna do about it?
100%. Oh, I love Craig.
I know.
Love Craig.
Okay.
And I don't think Jesse's all that attractive.
No.
I don't. Ew. I really don't. Like,
so we need to rate the new ones. We need to rate the new ones, even though we have husbands in the house downstairs. if I, gun to the head, had to pick one of them, I'd pick West. I don't like either of them. 'Cause
100%.
Mike's gonna get mad at me, but I'm still having hot flashes over Andrea. I mean, no one will
Oh,
replace him.
my God. That's crazy because that kind of all came together for Paige, like, within the same time she met Craig. Like, when
They
when
were
she was
all in
hooking up.
Winter House together.
Yes.
And she was, like, making out with Andrea in a hot tub, and he's, like, calling that random girlfriend he had at the time
Yep.
Natalie,
Yep.
like,
Mhm.
in the other bedroom.
Yeah.
Craig reminds me of, like, someone he always needs a girlfriend to.
That's why I think it's so funny that he ended up with Paige because Paige is such a strong personality, and he like
Mhm.
he almost like needs that in his life because he's so like cares. I don't know, like I
I
can't
know.
describe Craig.
He's grown
But
up, though. I mean,
oh, for sure, he's grown
like
up. But
having, like, thirst trap photo shoots all the time at the gym now. He's, like,
he's a
not drinking.
hooker.
I know. He's getting mad. And he's not annoying. He used to annoy me.
See,
He's
I
not
didn't
annoying
watch
anymore.
Summerhouse or not Summer. I'm sorry, I didn't watch Southern Charm in the earlier episodes, and like I have such a different perspective on even Craig, Shep, Austin that most people do because I'm catching in on the later seasons.
Mhm.
And everybody's like, oh my God, if you saw them season one, you wouldn't be saying that.
No, but Austin and Shep are always worse.
Oh, I know.
Especially Shep.
Oh my, I love Shep. And everybody's like, what?
No, I love him as entertainment, but not as, like, a partner.
Boyfriend. Yeah. Oh my gosh. God bless Taylor.
I know. No, I don't
Well,
know. They're gonna be something else. But we get a little drama with, like, Amanda just talking to Sierra and Paige about Kyle kind of confiding in Paige. So, like, how do you feel about that? That is awkward because it's like Paige is probably like a really good even middleman. Like,
yeah.
she's best friends with Amanda, but she's been friends with Kyle from the start, and she's going to be level-headed and she sees both sides.
Yeah, I was gonna say Paige is definitely, I feel like, level headed. And I think Kyle knows he's coming to Paige because he knows that he's gonna get some honesty and some truth, and it's going to get back to Amanda in a positive way.
Mhm.
Like Paige almost could be like a little band-aid between the two of them
Yeah.
almost. So I think it's kind of smart what he's doing.
Yeah.
And not that he wouldn't want to confide in Paige otherwise, but because she is going to shoot him straight. But there's almost like a safety net with her because he knows it's going to get back to Amanda in a good way.
Yeah.
It's going to shed light on him.
My one opinion, though, so we see later, like in the season, remember when they show in the trailer clip that, like, Sierra's like, do you have, like, an identity outside of Kyle? Because I don't think you do. She's
Oh,
kind of right because it's like you quit your job, you work at Loverboy, you're married to
but see,
Kyle,
I don't
and you do
agree.
Summerhouse with Kyle. You kind of like are too involved. It's like retired people when they get
Mhm.
tired of each other and empty nesters. It's like we don't do anything separate from each
Yeah.
other because we're just together all the time with every aspect, which is what they are.
Yes, that's true. But I don't know that she's adopted his identity as in personality traits because think about it. She's like, go on with your bad self, Kyle. Go have fun, go party.
That
I'm
is
gonna
true.
go to bed, or I'm tired, or I
Do you
want to
hate
do
that they go to
this.
bed? I do.
I think
Like, go out.
it makes for the season like to be like meh, like little flop, but that's on them. There's other cast members that aren't going to bed and that are gonna lift the season up and keep
Yeah,
it
but I'm
riding.
like, girl, work for your money. I work
Well,
hard for my money. Go out on Friday and Saturday night. I want to see you in the Hamptons at the club.
Yeah, I definitely want to see more of like Amanda and Paige not in bed.
Can we follow them like out too?
I know.
We used to do that
Well-
sometimes, but it's like, can we do it more? Like
Yeah.
Jersey Shore. I don't know if any of you guys still keep up with Jersey Shore, but I'm still kind of hooked on like the new stuff. Thank God for our girls, Dina and Snooki, because they keep it alive. Everyone else is like sober Sally over there. And even if they like, good for Mike for getting off of drugs and alcohol, but like Paulie and Vinny, can you have a drink while you're filming? Like,
Which is so
we're
fun-
paying you to watch you be fun.
Which is so funny because Snooki, mom of what, 2, 3 kids?
3.
We're moms. Like we like to
Mhm.
party. We have our wine. Like
Oh, and that would be my excuse
I would love it.
when
I'd be
I'm
like,
filming.
yes, exactly. Let's go. Follow me with those cameras. We're gonna have a great night.
I'd be
out.
like, Mike, I'm working. I gotta get drunk.
Yeah,
That's what they
go.
expect of me.
Exactly. So I don't know. Back to Amanda though. I don't know that she completely morphed herself to Kyle, but in a way, I see what you're saying with the whole, they work together, they
Mhm.
live together, they have dogs together, like everything in their life is together,
It's too much together.
but their personalities are still very different. And
For
I do
sure.
appreciate that.
It's just a little too much together. They need a
Yeah.
little separation.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I think it is healthy for Paige and Craig, but it always riddles me at if and when they move in together, will they like each other?
Yeah, you don't think about that. Like, it's like, when will Paige move? When will Paige move? But
Yeah.
then when she moves, like, are they still going to have this great dynamic that they do now? Because she loves living her life in New York.
Mhm.
She thrives. She's happy.
But it's like, do you love New York or do you love Craig?
She might love both. And I think you can. I think you can love Craig and I think you can love New York, because if she isn't in New York anymore, I feel like she loses a part of herself.
But did you see when
And then that's when
Madison
things start
remember
crumbling.
when we're sidetracking for Southern Charm, but when Madison and they all had dinner, she was
Mhm.
like, "I never pictured the cul-de-sac life until I met my now husband."
Mhm.
And I was like, "What cul-de-sac do you wanna move into?"
Yeah,
Because
which
it's true.
one? Which
And
one?
it's like Craig can't leave because he has a law firm. He has his business down there, and he films a show which films longer than Summerhouse does. If you think about it, Summerhouse is just July and August and just on the weekend.
Yeah,
And you do your Amazon Live. You could do that anywhere.
right.
Like, she doesn't have a set business in New York, but it's hard. So then to
Yeah.
point it back to Summerhouse to get back in the vibe, but Kyle and Amanda are talking about starting a family, and Kyle is kind of saying like, "Oh, well, like, Amanda's not ready." And she's like, "I was literally born to be a mother. It's
Mhm.
Kyle who needs to grow up," which we see. Like, he's the one,
Yes,
he
yes.
literally is the oldest in the house and stays up the latest.
He
Like,
is
I
the
kind of
player.
like it, but
He is the ringleader of
mhm.
the party of Summerhouse. Like, he is Summerhouse,
And we like
essentially.
it for TV, but it's like for real life, it's like,
Mhm.
that would be annoying.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I understand, like, Amanda's like, he needs to stop projecting onto me. He's not ready. I'm ready. And then Paige and her
Yeah.
confessional. I need to do a compilation of all the confessionals because it's stand-up comedy between her, James Kennedy, some of the housewives. I'm like living for it all. Paige is like, I get it. You're too busy raising a man child. How can you raise a child? She's like, I've been raising Craig for 2 years.
Yes, it is. And she is so funny. I love Paige. She's always talking about it on her podcast, and like, I love that they have that dynamic, her and Craig. But it's very true with the Amanda and Kyle situation. I really do think that Kyle thinks he knows what he wants, but in reality, it's not like what he's showing.
Mhm.
Like, actions speak louder than words. So
And I can't even imagine them with kids right now because they're all kind of like, I feel like they're all kind of riding that train that's really trucking right now. And like,
mhm.
you can't sidetrack and have a kid because what would happen?
Derail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard and they do need to get on the same page. But West is like a little intimidated because now there's another single guy in the house. But as we
Mhm.
said, we would be picking West, not Jesse, because I don't like Jesse. He seems like he's too in love with himself to give me love. And I
Mhm.
don't like that.
Yeah.
I
Agreed.
really am not attracted to either of them, but if I had to pick one, it'd be
West.
West. West
100%.
is getting our vote. Everyone's waking up hungover. Love to see it. It's so funny. Reminds me back in college. You see the nightstand. There's about 9 different beverages on Kyle's side. Paige is yelling from the balcony, West, did you sleep outside? He's like, no, but I could have. They all have like a little breakfast. Amanda is pissed at Kyle. She has the towel on her head, wet head from the shower. She's like, are you ready to leave? Because if you're not, I'll ride home with somebody else.
Boom.
So then he moseys down to the kitchen. He's like, "Oh, I don't really know why she's that mad because I didn't do anything that bad." So then it like pans up. Remember like the flashbacks, like him of like staying out late. She doesn't know where he is.
Yes.
He did
Yes.
cheat on her too.
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes she's like, I get worried if he's out late or like he probably just, it's more he comes home and like Paige said, it's the man child thing. Like you come home and
Yeah.
you're annoying, but that's where I teeter back to the, why don't you go out, girl?
Yeah.
You're being paid to do this and
Yes.
you're only there for the weekend and you
Your
got no kids. Go out.
opportunity is right in front of you. But to be honest, if her like significant other is such a partier and is always out, and there has been like bumps in the relationship because of that in the past, like it almost like makes you not it like puts a bad taste in your mouth when it
But you
comes
would
to
almost wanna go
partying.
with them, though,
Nah.
if you're insecure about it.
Well,
Do you know what
yeah,
I
if you're
mean?
insecure about it, but I'm just thinking like she's like, oh, like it gives her bad
Mhm.
vibes, like because she knows that bad things can happen if that's the case. I don't know.
That is true. But I am sensing Jesse, the flirtation continues with Paige in the kitchen when he's making the eggies. And Paige is like, Jesse Solomon. And he's like, yes, honey. Or he said, yes, dear. And then she's like, oh, thanks for my eggs. I don't think she is doing it on purpose. It's like an unconscious, like flirting. Like, why are you calling him Jesse Solomon? Hi,
But
Jesse Solomon.
but
That's like
and I
flirty.
and I think when they come into Summerhouse, like when they all come together, they know that like the banter is going to be all flirtatious. It's all incestual. What's the word?
Incestuous.
Yeah, thank you. Could not say that word. Like it's almost part of the role
Yeah, it's just how are you gonna appreciate that when you're
when you're
Craig?
watching it back and you're
And when
Craig.
Craig is on, they're fortunate enough, like a Kyle and Amanda, but Kyle and Amanda are on the same show. Like you're in the Bravo universe, but you're on separate shows. So
Right.
how would she feel if he was like that with like a Taylor,
Right.
the town slut?
Right. Oh man.
Charleston.
Oh, Taylor, man. You did not have a good season, girl.
No.
Yeah. I mean, there's a level of there's a line.
That's
There's a
why I'm ready
line.
because
And you're
Craig is
teetering
very
on it.
non-confrontational, but I'm ready for him to come on the show because we know we're gonna get him. But then we get a little b-ball scene of Carl. He's playing a little b-ball in the city, and Lindsay's like, "Woo, babe, babe, babe." Can we count how many times they freaking said "babe" last
Drinking
summer?
game.
Yeah, we'd all be blacked out dead
Oh
on
my
the side of
God.
the road.
Holy moly.
So they have a little chit chat on the bench, and he's like, I don't think I'm going to call you babe this summer. I'm going to call you dude. Immediately, tension. I felt it. She's like, that's not funny. She's like, do you really care that much what people think? She's like, don't you call me babe at home? Just call me dude. He went, it's a joke. As soon as I saw that scene, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
That's why they didn't get it
Here's where it
married.
starts to
Mhm.
crumble, which is so interesting to me after watching this episode. Carl knew Lindsay.
Our dog is snoring on the floor. That's why we're laughing. Frankie. Love him.
Oh.
I need to get him on the pod. I had him on the talked about him so much because I recap VPR about Graham.
Yes.
So I was just going off on Golden Doodle.
Oh my gosh, Frankie is
like,
in a deep
it's like
sleep.
Frankie's gonna write a tell-all.
He's dreaming about something.
He's dreaming about being friends with Graham and riding on PJs with LVP.
Yeah, really. But no, like Carl knew Lindsay so well. Like you can't say you entered this relationship and like you didn't know what she was about because like she is a strong
No, she's crazy.
personality and like a little crazy at times. Like I don't know. He knew what he was signing up for.
Guess what my nickname for her is?
What?
Lunatic Lindsay.
Looney Lynn.
Yeah, because we got to do like an L for Lindsay. It's like, what could, because like Tequila Katie, but that's a T and a K. But I was like, let's like rhyme it with
like
Lindsay.
E, like
Lunatic
tequila.
Lindsay, because she is kind of a lunatic.
Yeah.
And I like that word lunatic. We need to bring that back.
Looney Lynn. I like
Looney
it.
Lynns. But yeah, they're definitely not having a fun banter. She said like wedding planning is stressful. I kind of hate when people say that because it's like it is stressful, but it's like
fun stress.
but
it shouldn't be. It
should be more fun for them too because
yeah.
it's like, excuse me, how many sponsors are you probably getting? Like,
yeah, oh
and how much work are people probably doing for you? Like pro bono.
Yeah, I
Like,
wish. Oh my God.
Like, so she said it may be the last summer without having a baby, and then I feel like he didn't really like say anything, so I was like, oh, it's a little awkward. And then they're like, kind of addressing the fact that they have to go into the house and see Danielle. And Danielle has the same feeling as them though, because they were like kind of good at the reunion of any of the girls, which is crazy because they had the worst summer. They made like a resolution because I feel like Danielle was really only Lindsay's friend. Like
Yeah.
Paige and Amanda, like, don't hate her, but it's like, we're not your friend.
Yeah, they're definitely not friends, and there is a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to Lindsay, I think. Over the seasons and over time, like, it's not like they've grown to really buddy with one another.
She's just too much.
They're just there in the house together.
I feel bad for the ex-boyfriend what was his name? Steven, that was during the COVID time. Like, how many sandwiches have you made for me?
Oh my Lord.
She was probably starting to say that to Carl, honestly. I could get the vibe that she was saying that to him. And he's probably like, no. PTSD of you saying that with the ex-boyfriend.
Yeah. But again, he knew what he was getting into. He saw that he knew Lindsay.
That is the weird thing too. Remember when they tried to like date and hook up?
Yeah.
And then like, so that failed, and then you're friends, and then you're sober, and then it's like, let's get married? No, that's weird.
It was a little crazy. I feel like they were getting older and they were growing a good friendship. So they were like, oh, maybe we're supposed to be together romantically. And clearly they were not.
Like a pact some people make. Like,
yeah.
Oh, if you don't get like married by 30 and we're best friends, let's just get married.
Yeah. I mean, people do it.
That's weird though.
But
Because you know
like,
the one person. And then he
snapped out of it and he's like, wait a second.
Yeah,
wait, this is my whole life. This is the rest of my life.
He's like, JK, you're lunatic, Lindsay. I don't want to do it.
Wait. I'm backing out. Yeah.
So then we see, so on the last time when I was recapping with Devin, I was like, we never see them in the city anymore. And I would love to see that.
Yeah.
So the Bravo universe must have like, I could play the lottery, and I wish I could play the lottery like this because we see them in the city. We see Sierra modeling, gorgeous, like young Naomi Campbell.
Gorgeous.
Vibes. Yeah. Gorgeous. Don't know if the boobies are real or fake, but gorgeous.
Fake.
We see Kyle and Amanda go to dinner. He has a sparkling water. She has a rosé. Very mature.
Yeah.
Need to cut that mullet though in the night. Like I said before.
I don't know. I'm kind of a fan of the mullet.
I don't know.
I don't know. It fits him. It's fitting. But if you want a kid, maybe cut the mullet. That'll show some maturity.
Yeah. I just don't like the mullet with his vibe. It doesn't match like his vibe and his wardrobe and his car.
And his height.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's why he's doing it for a little height, a little dusting on the end.
Yeah.
But they're just talking about like, it's nothing we can't like get through. We need to just like get on the same page, blah, 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 blah. I think he thinks Amanda should be working just as hard as him, whereas Loverboy is in her company. She just does the graphic design.
You know what? I agree. Like I think he puts so much pressure on like that she should be doing this, and it doesn't match his energy and all this and that in his interviews. I agree. It shouldn't. Like, it's your company, Kyle.
Yeah.
Like, yes, Amanda works with you.
And quit her job to support your company.
Sure.
Which is noble.
Sure. But like, does it need to match? I don't know.
No. Not when you're not the owner, because I bet in a scary prenup situation, because you know all these people have to do it, it's his company. Because it was his company before marriage.
He made her sign a prenup before their marriage.
And that was mainly about it. Yeah. I bet.
That was a main pain point in last
And I don't doubt him for doing that.
No.
Good for you. It's protection. But don't yell at her that she's not emailing on her phone at 3 a.m. with you when that's not her position.
Right.
Which is kind of what him and Carl got into arguments last summer. But now we see Carl is like fully back at Loverboy.
Well,
because Lindsay's out of the picture.
Well, maybe because Kyle also got to him. I mean, there could be a couple reasons, but he can't bring that same energy into his marriage. That's for damn sure. Because if he does, it's not going to be good. And I'm happy that they're taking this season to like kind of work on themselves and kind of mend where they were at before. But
I know
it doesn't need to match.
I know
their work energy.
I know. So we get West and Jesse riding together down for the weekend. This is Jesse's like first full weekend, and then Carl and Lindsay are going to join us. So he said he's really vibing with Sierra. Jesse said Paige is a homie. And I'm like, no, she's not. She's not your homie. She's Craig's homie. So don't even go there.
Yes.
Carl and Lindsay arrive with lobster tails, surf and turf dinner action. Carl and Jesse immediately do a height measuring contest. They are basically the same height because they're the tallest people, but Carl has a little fluff hair on top, so he wins basically by a little fluff inch.
We'll count the fluff. We'll count it.
How'd you feel about Lindsay already being a bitch the second she walks in the house? The only person that West knew before this whole experience was Carl and Lindsay. He's like, "Oh, I know you guys probably want that room that you had last year. My only thing is like I want to take that fan that I left in there." So I'm assuming that's his personal fan that he brought because he said I left in there. He's like to bring to my room. And she's like, "Oh, well, that was like the hottest room in the whole house." And he's like, "Oh, okay, well, why don't you like go up and check the temperature and then let me know how you feel?" And she's like, I've been in this house for like years. I know the temperature. And I'm like, "Oh my God, Carl, this is why you're escaping."
Horrible. Like the attitude, the like snippiness. It's just like, who the flip do you think you are?
I know.
Seriously, like just
Like you
don't.
just got here.
I'm sorry, but like you shouldn't speak like that to like anybody, especially if it's somebody that you know and it's your friend. Like just talk it out and just be like, "Oh, it's really hot in there. Like, do you mind if I keep like whatever?" Just don't speak how you're speaking because it's horrible and it's coming off so
Entitled.
nasty.
And
Yeah.
entitled. It's like, "Excuse
Nasty.
me, Princess P, like if you wanted that room, don't go to the White House the previous weekend in your ugly non-4th of July festive outfit
It
and
truly
come
is.
clean your room."
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Probably,
annoying.
yeah. Annoying.
So then they get up to the rooms and then she's extra annoyed. Like Carl is embarrassed for her bitchiness too. Like West is getting his stuff out of the bathroom because it's like it's they take their stuff home, but it's like their house for the whole summer. So they leave like random like tchotchkes. And she's so irritated. And Carl's like,
Mhm.
"Is it good?" And Lindsay's like, "Yeah, I mean, like, not really, but like, whatever, it's fine." And it's like, "Girl, that's the same room you had last year. It was fine last year when you guys were calling each other babe every other sentence. Why is it not fine right now? You
I
got your own bathroom."
I feel like she did come into this entitled, and she knows that she like has to keep her like defenses up because she's not friends with anybody.
Mhm.
She knows that no one, almost like nobody wants her there.
She blew it last summer with everyone.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like her defenses are up and she's just coming in like hot and nasty.
I know. But I feel bad for Carl because I feel like he's like taking blame of it almost. He's like, it's like
Well,
he wants to say to Wes, like, "Sorry, Lindsay's being like a little bitch right
and I
now."
honestly think that's the worst feeling when you're in a relationship, is like when you're embarrassed by the person you're with, because
Mhm.
like it's a fine line to walk, because you don't want to like mess things up in your relationship or make things rocky with your relationship, but you also like don't want to be associated with it.
Mhm.
So it's like, do I talk to her
It's like
about
collateral
it?
damage then.
Yeah.
You are like
You are who you
2 and
date, or
1.
you are who you hang out with or
Yeah.
associate with. And it's like,
Mhm.
I don't want people to hate me because of Lindsay's nastiness.
Mhm. But
So,
then the good Samaritan that Carl is, he brought the lobster tails and he got the steaks, so they're having surf and turf outside, and they're like, "Let's go around the table
mhm.
and say a fun fact or something everyone wouldn't know about everyone." So West says, "I've been to all 50 states with my parents. It was on their bucket list, so I just tagged along." And they're like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And then Jesse says, "I am a two-time cancer survivor." Now that just definitely took the cake of the 50 states comment.
Mhm.
So he had a little cancer in the balls, got that removed, but then he said it spread and came back to the stomach.
Yikes.
That's where he really suffered. But he hopes, so I hope that we do see, because now we don't know, because this is like July. So he said that August, so last August, he would be 5 years cancer free.
Mhm.
So hopefully he was, and congratulations to him. But this is where I love West with his funny humor. He's like, leans into his cuddle buddy Sierra, and he's like, "Thank God I went first, because if I had to like follow to the cancer thing," and I'm like, "Oh, I went to all 50 states." He's like,
Too funny.
I just love their little camaraderie. Like earlier,
Yeah,
like he
little
was like,
banter. It's cute, it's fun, and yes, for Jesse's sake, thank God, 5 years, that's great.
I know, that's great.
And I feel like since he is new, like people are getting to know him, and like, everybody's not just fun and games, like there's depth to people. And I
Yeah.
think on this show you can kind of
Which is,
forget
I feel
that.
like we only saw the two of their like confessions. So I'm
Yeah.
like,
I wonder what everybody else said.
I know, like, I wonder what everyone else said, but, like, I guess we only saw them because 'cause they're new, but I would have liked, like, I bet Carl's would have been something about, like, being sober and
Mhm.
stuff, like, it would have been interesting to see everyone's, but I know we only have limited time marks on Bravo because we had to get in to the end of the episode with the bombshell of the Lindsay and Carl of it all, so let's get into it, let's tee it up.
Oof.
So, the gang all goes out, no bed bugs in this house, they're all going out for once. Lindsay gets into the Uber with the boys. All the girls go in their other Uber. It says an hour later. And then we see Lindsay and Gabby coming back to the house. And Lindsay's like, this is why I avoid him. I don't even like to be around him. Up until this point, we see her tickled in love, still the same with Carl as last year, sickening, saying babe every other sentence. So then we get the rewind and we get the Carl and Lindsay of it all in the confessionals, them telling their sides of the story. So Carl is like, Lindsay gets in the car with us. She starts just going off, and I'm trying to calm her down. And then she gets right in my face and says, what do you want? And then he can't deal with it. He's sober. She's drunk. She's not in
Mhm.
sound mind. That has to be so hard for Carl. This is his fiance, not just a friend, but being sober, that has to be difficult.
Yeah.
So she leaves. She is actually telling Gabby in the kitchen, crying, clearly drunk, I think Carl is on something tonight. I was getting cocaine Carl vibes tonight, the way he was yelling at me. So awful to say that because then later, Gabby is calling Carl. She's like, are you guys okay? He answers the phone, talks totally fine and normal. He's like, yeah, we're just heading back. Are you guys okay? And she's like, yeah, we're fine. Cause like he wasn't answering Lindsay. But it's like because he probably wasn't answering. I'd love to see all the texts she was sending him all night. It was probably totally annoying. So then we see the text messages fly up on the screen. And he says, I think we need to just like take time tonight, rest,
Like
wake
a
up with clear
sober-minded
minds.
person.
Yeah. I want to know your experience and feelings. This is like therapy 101.
Oh,
His
100%. You could
answers.
tell he did the work.
Yeah. He's like, I want to know your experience tomorrow. And you tell me your experience. She said, yeah, you're sober now, but maybe you weren't. Something like that. That's not verbatim, but like you guys get the gist. And then he's like, Lindsay, I am sober. You are not, period. And she's like, maybe now. Terrible.
Yes, I think
Terrible.
it's huge accusations coming from your fiance.
Mhm.
When you one thing to kind of like have these tiffs behind, not even tiffs, like accusations, what conversations, if that's how she truly felt, to have this conversation with your fiance behind closed doors. You are on camera. You
Mhm.
know you are being filmed. You know you're on a show. That is not okay. To
Not
come
okay.
at somebody's character like that when they've done the work. Now,
This is supposed to be her husband in a couple months.
yeah. I mean, it's big, and I really hope, like, if she truly did feel like that, like, deep down, I would hope that she would have enough love for Carl to, like, have had pulled him aside later, maybe a day or two later, and say, listen, I felt as though, like, you may have been, like, under the influence of something, like, let's talk it through, like, I just wanna be sure, like, that wasn't the case, like, if you truly cared, and obviously she was drunk, like, you
Mhm.
could see it.
That's what makes me mad though. It's like,
So
it's
me
okay for you to get activated, as she says,
Yeah,
but he can't get activated sober?
yeah,
I get mad and raise my voice sober. Does
right.
that mean I'm on cocaine?
No.
Like, he's just getting so pissed with you, and as we saw in prior scenes with the basketball in the room, you can just tell she's just it's too much, and I bet the wedding planning, I don't even wanna picture. We need behind the scenes, like, montages of them wedding planning. She was probably a friggin' nightmare.
It's like she can give it, but she can't get it.
Uh-huh.
And I think when he, like, finally gave it back to her after, like, her nasty comments
Mhm.
all day, or how long have they been
Mhm.
together? Like, continuous
Yeah.
nasty
All
comments
year, their whole
all year.
relationship.
Like, he's probably like, "Oh my god, what the hell?" And
Yeah.
it's so funny to me because you see the other guys' interviews and they say verbatim what Carl's saying
Yeah.
happened. So, like, I don't know, Lindsay, like, 3 against 4, but the worst part is I think she, like, Carl has said when the news broke that they broke up, or they called off the engagement. He called the cameras. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, Carl, what the heck? Like,
Yeah,
you're
I was
such a
mad at
bad
him at
guy.
first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're such a bad guy for doing that." But he consistently said, "I don't regret my decision. You know, I'm sorry it hurt Lindsay, but you guys will see this play out."
Yeah.
And for some reason,
And
I
she should
think,
have saw signs,
and she should have
which I
saw
agree.
signs. So I think maybe now it's like I don't know. Now that we're seeing it start to play out, you can kind of see why he might have wanted to put that on camera,
Yeah.
because we didn't see the conversation that this all happened in the car.
Yeah.
So
I know. Why don't they have the car cameras? That's what I mean. We need more
Yeah.
Bravo. If you're out there
So he
listening,
doesn't want to
we
get
need more.
misconstrued
Jersey
again.
Shore has the budget for the car cameras and all the housewives. Let's get
Yeah.
it up in the Summerhouse.
Get these people.
They do
mics.
weird. It's like we only see them in the house.
Mhm.
That's what I mean. It's like, can we get them outside of the
Yeah.
house? Like,
Especially if something big like this happens and we're talking about
yes.
the drama and you're getting people.
They need to have
It's like,
cameras in the car, so
I
then
can
if something
understand.
happens, filter it in the episode.
Right.
Like, love you, Sierra, but we didn't have to see you modeling if that took up the time of seeing the argument in the car. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
That could be like after show extras.
Yeah. I think Carl, it's gonna play out more, but I think Carl like knew that maybe if he put it on camera, like the viewers would be able to see like kind of what he's been feeling.
Yeah.
So
I'm
I
already
don't
feeling
know.
it. This is technically their first episode because we saw them just like FaceTiming at the White House the last episode, so that almost like didn't count. But I'm already feeling it like episode 1 in for them. Like,
Yeah.
so then the next day, so they didn't sleep in the same room. The next day, Lindsay comes in the room, and you can tell like if someone is hungover on alcohol, but certainly almost like a hangover of drugs.
Yeah.
So she's like, "Here, do you need a water?" Like insinuating, like, "Do you need a water because you were just like sniffing cocaine up your nose all night?"
Yeah.
And then he's like, "No, I'm fine. I'm actually gonna like go for a run. You're the one that's hungover, like laying in the bed." He didn't say that, but I'm saying his gestures was like, "No, I'm fine. You're not fine." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so she,
Like, I don't see you getting on your workout clothes,
Yeah.
putting on your sneakers, and like
which she was last
headed out
summer.
the door.
Remember that?
Yeah,
She was
did it
barely
with
drinking.
it. Their dynamic is completely different. You can already see it this summer versus last summer. They were in a honeymoon phase last summer, which is all well. Like everybody goes through it, but
I think he already mentally is like, "I'm not getting married to you because you accused me of getting on drugs." The only thing I can say about Carl is I think he couldn't turn back from this. He should have broke it off earlier, because the thing I think that's messed up is that's a turning point for me. I'd be like, "It's a no-go if you accuse me of that and you think I did that and I didn't." He let her
On
have the
camera.
bridal shower.
on camera.
And then he waited too long for everyone to get the refund for the hotel.
Yeah.
I think he already knew and he was prolonging it. That's why I don't like that.
Maybe as the days got closer, he got more scared
You
and
don't
more
let her have the
confident.
bridal shower,
I know, you
though.
don't let her have a bridal shower. You don't do what you did. I agree. Carl was
waited too
wrong for
long.
all of it. But I can see where it was stemming.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see where
I mean, that
his
would have been
feelings
it
were
for me,
stemming.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I think you were doing cocaine last night," I'll be like, "Yeah, bye." Like, "No, I wasn't. Bye.
Yeah, no.
You were the one drunk."
Yeah.
Like, "Bye."
Mm-mm.
Oh, she's a lot. That's what I put in my notes. Look, she's a lot in all caps.
Exactly.
I was drinking I've been doing the calm magnesium powder.
Yes, the sleepy girl drink.
Yeah, I do it
I
in my
love
little
it.
stemless wine glass, my
Yeah.
little round ice cube balls. I do the calm powder, the Topo Chico, the little sparkling
love
mineral water, and I didn't do the lime juice last night because I didn't have any limes. I had to buy them today for our margaritas.
We used them for our skinny margaritas. So.
Yeah. And the tart cherry juice, but it's good.
Yeah.
But I've been spraying magnesium spray on my feet too.
Oh, me too.
I get into deep sleeps.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have weird freaking dreams.
Same.
Weird. And I get into
same.
like the same. So I feel like I used to have 100 dreams a night, which they do say you have like 100 a night. You don't remember any of them.
Yeah.
Now with the magnesium spray, I feel like I have one dream a night all night. And it's so weird and real. And I wake
like
up the next
a
day, I'm like,
movie.
whoa.
It's like a movie. It's like you go to bed and you are in the theater.
I'm like, yeah, like, I want to start dreaming about Bravo though. Like,
You know what? I used to keep my notes tab on the iPhone notes tab open, and every night, like if I would wake up in the middle of the night, I would jot down what I had dreamt.
that's so good.
Yeah. And then in the morning, I would like do the same thing. Jot down what I dreamt.
Oh,
Try
that's
it.
good.
It's cool. But
Yeah,
yeah, the
mine's weird
magnesium, deep sleep.
sometimes. Mine's
This
weird.
wine, deep sleep.
Yeah, deep sleep with the magnesium. Wow, this was so fun.
So much fun. Love it. Love to talk all things Bravo.
I loved it. Frankie's finally awake. He's not snoring anymore. Maybe he was having some deep dreams about Bravo.
Yeah, really. I hope my daughter's asleep. Oh my gosh. I hope my husband has her asleep downstairs.
The baby. All right. Well, I love it. And we're going to have to VPR recap again and do our little happy hour. I love it. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. As always, this was so fun, and you could find me on Instagram at Bravo T with the Stay at Home Mom, Spotify, and Apple. Till next time, see ya.